All right, welcome back to the show. I guess tonight is no stranger to the show. First, we talked about some slowpokes, killer sloths. Then we talked about a zombie date night, um, and then we talked about his holiday um, ex machina, and now he's back to curse us out with some foul mouth. Yeah, welcome back, Steve. How's it
Thank
going?
Good. Things are good. Thank you for having me back, Chad. I appreciate it. As a four-time member of the show now, as a guest, I'm honored. I'm honored to be back. Thank you. Thank you again for having me.
Well, it's always good, and I know that you've done other projects since, but we just haven't been able to work anything out with my mainly my fault. So,
No worries. No worries at all. Listen, the world is very crazy right now. So there's a lot of things going on. So I'm glad we're able to come back together and talk some comics. So I'm excited.
yeah, it was about a year ago that we talked about your holiday ex machina,
Yes,
Santa Claus versus the robots, if
that's
I
right.
remember correctly. What before we get into foul mouth, what have you been into besides once that campaign kind of wrapped up?
So after Ex Machina came out, there was a Slowpokes too. So we ended up doing that. We ended up making our funding last year, which turned out really well. Since then, just working and trying to navigate this new normal after COVID. Things have been good. I'm excited about this new project and just seeing where things go in comics. I feel like comics are changing so much, week to week with news of different things. I know that was it an Amazon? They shut down the comics app, or so they moved stuff around with that. And then more people are looking at digital comics. I'm loving Marvel Unlimited. I'm loving DC Universe Unlimited, Infinite. So it's been good, and I've been reading a lot of just regular books lately. I just finished this book called My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham, and it's really, really good.
Nice. So, I mean, let's jump right into it. Do I need to curse here to set the stage, or
I mean, listen,
tell
I'm,
us?
I'm wearing blue for a reason because we're working blue tonight. That's how it's gonna go.
So the project is Foulmouth, the superhero who gets her powers from cursing. So
That's right.
tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll kind of delve into it a little more.
Sure. So Foulmouth, as you were saying, demon possessed superhero gets her powers from cursing. I got the idea. I was taking a walk during the pandemic, and I was like, what could I do in comics that other places? What could I do that other people can't do? So I was thinking, I was like, well, the big two, I'd be funny if there's something with cursing. And then that turned into, well, what if it was like a demon possessed superhero? And then that turned into, what if her curse words, the more animated it becomes, the more, on the page, it reveals itself kind of like Green Lantern, where
Uh,
like if I called somebody a shit sandwich, the shit sandwich will pop up and help them. So I got that idea. I thought that would be really funny, really cool. You could play with censorship. You could play with language. You could play with just a character who's not heard a lot in the story, and using her curse word to kind of be who she needs to be, and be the hero that she needs to be for this comic.
so tell us, who is the main character, and what's I guess what's the elevator pitch?
Sure.
What's
So
the conflict?
the main character, her name is Faye Flick. So definitely playing off of superheroes with alliteration names like the Peter Parkers and the Clark Kents and things like that. She's 17. She is just moved to a new city, and her parents just got divorced, and she's just trying to find her voice. She's trying to figure out who she is as a person, and she moves into a place where superheroes are kind of out and about, and it's something completely new because she moved from a small town to a city. So imagine moving from a small town, moving from Smallville to Metropolis and seeing Superman for the first time. So she runs into the superheroes, and she takes a job at at a lady, and her name is Madame Greco, and she's kind of like a sorcerer type person. And she opens a book, and she accidentally gets possessed by a demon, and the demon wants to do good because his brother is bad, and that's kind of where the story goes. And the cursing comes to life, and she uses her powers for good to help save the city.
So, I mean, all right, that is a very interesting. I mean, honestly, it is a very interesting concept, and nothing I would expect less from the guy who came up with killer sloths and grandmas with killer. I forget what was it, the infinity, like what was the word? Yeah, yeah. I remember that from our talk about zombie date night. So, just you know, is this like is it planned to be like a miniseries, or is it just kind of like, is it like a one shot? Is it kind of something that you're just seeing if there's a feeling for? Or...
Yeah, I think for this one, I'm seeing if there's a feeling for. I would love to do more. I think the Foulmouth character is a lot of fun. This is my first, female main character as like the sole main character, so it was kind of fun, writing that. And just getting. I with my comics, I take a lot of things in my life and try to put them into the comics. And my girlfriend is definitely the basis for this this character, who she has a bit of a foul mouth and likes to curse a lot, which is funny because she's an elementary school teacher or a pre-K teacher. So it was a lot of fun to write. I love the character. I hope I can do more. I definitely have ideas for more, but it's more getting a feel for it, seeing where things go, and just trying something new, because I'm known for the horror stuff. But I think everybody who has jumped into comics was heavily influenced by superheroes growing up, or what have you. So I think to go back to that, go back to my childlike wonder of superheroes and making my own, was the step in the right direction. And it's something different, and I just want to see where the fuck it goes.
and I know that we've in our other interviews we've talked about this, but kind of what is your background with comic books? Because
but yeah, I mean, for me, comics are an escape, and comics was my first love. Like, comics were the first thing that I got to get introduced to, with Spider-Man and Batman. First, it came with the animated series. I think that's a lot of gateways. That's a gateway for a lot of people. And I from there, I was like, what is this? I got to see more of this. And then I started reading like Wizard magazine, and that kind of like brought my taste to other things, like Preacher. And I'm known mostly for blood and guts and horror, and so I was like, what, let's do something different. There's actually a good story. I took a class with a comic professional. I won't say who, because I'm not trying to start any bullshit. But but I asked them, hey, I'm known for this. I would love to jump into another genre. What advice do you have for moving into different genres? And they said, stay in your lane. And I thought that was very bad advice. I don't think they meant it to be mean. I think they meant it more like, hey, if things are going right, stick with it, and then figure out your voice from there. But I took that to me as a challenge, because as a writer, I want to be able to write different things and not just stay in one lane and just be like, oh, he's the horror guy. Oh, he's doing zombies. Oh, he's doing sloths. I have to grow. I have to get better, and I have to get, as long as I'm getting better than the last time, then that's all I want to do.
Well, speaking about growing, I mean, I know when we talked about Killer Sloths, I mean, that was your first comic writing, and since then you've had, Zombie Date Night, Ex Machina, and Killer Sloths too. How have you grown as a writer?
I think this one, I'm a little bit more grounded in terms of, it's not just blood and guts. It's not just jokes. It's more of like, okay, what's the story? What's the emotional attachment to the character? What kind of things can I put in there that makes this character come to life? I think I'm improving as a writer, hopefully, and just not relying. And again, I'm not trying to rely on gimmicks or things like that. Like, but I'm trying to grow, and I'm trying to make sure that my characters sound real, make sure that they, even if they didn't have powers, you'd be like, oh, I know that's somebody that I could see talking to outside in the real world.
And who are you working with? Who's helping you with the art and stuff like that? Are you working with a similar a team that you've worked with before, or are these new people?
New people. So I went through Comics Experience again. Shout out to them. They've always found great deal of talent that helped me with my comics that I have, bringing crazy ideas to life. And they sent me the portfolio of Sarah Davidson, who did the art for this and the coloring. And she did a incredible job and just brought it all to life. And that is the Foulmouth character. Like I wrote down my character sheets, and there were really no notes sent. They sent it over to her, and she had a lot of fun with it. She did a great job, and I'm very grateful. And then the lettering is done by HDE. That's the name of the letterer. And again, just everything worked. And that's such a cool thing about making comics, is it's a team sport. And, you know, it's making sure that the right pieces are in place, because I can write a million things, but if the art doesn't come across, or if it doesn't gel with what I'm doing, it's not going to work. And I think Foulmouth works on all levels here. So I'm very excited. So shout out to Sarah Davidson and HD for helping.
Now, as as you were, developing, Foulmouth, was there one character that you kind of latched onto, or was there one character that kind of grew on you as you've worked with them and finding their voice?
Absolutely. So the demon that possesses Foulmouth, or the demon that possesses Fae Flick to become Foulmouth, his name is Urenu, and which is funny, where it's an anagram for Urena, which I thought was, which I'm like, why not put myself in the comics? And just to have that duality of somebody that, is sweet, quiet, and then the duality of a demon who just like wants to eat pizza and is loud and wants to just cause, mayhem and a ruckus, like my cat who's doing right now. It was that's what I loved. I love the duality, and I love switching back and forth between the voices of those. Also making an appearance in this as the villain. In my first comic, Slowpokes, I had a 5-page story about a villain and a hero, who the hero finally gets defeated, and the villain the villain misses him basically and brings him back to life. So I brought them back into this, and I thought that the hero, his name is Super Positive, would make a great villain for this, because it's somebody who, classic hero, always talks over people, always making puns, always trying to like be the life of the party. And Foulmouth is like, I am not having this. This is too, it's not, the personalities clash. So it was a lot of fun to just kind of bring those characters back and have the dynamic of everybody.
So let's kind of talk about the Kickstarter itself. I mean, it's not your first one, so what are you offering for this one, and what have you learned with your previous ones?
So this Kickstarter, I have to admit, is a lot tougher than the last ones. I feel like horror is a lot easier of a sell than superheroes at the moment, and it's just learning and trying to figure out what hits, what doesn't. Every time I share the concept on social media and stuff like that, people are like, "Oh, I love that. That's a great idea." So I know the concept is fine. It's just, I feel like with social media these days, like Twitter is just a shit show now, and
well,
now
first off, it's X.
It's X. Oh, sorry, X.
I'm just going to correct you, because if we don't, then Elon will tag us, and
That's right. But X is it's not what it was. It's harder to break through. It's harder to find people who would want to find your comic, and also just breaking out of the horror genre. It's a little bit tougher, but we do have a lot of good stuff to offer for the cursing people in your life. We have a shirt that says "Cursing is my superpower," which I absolutely love, done by artist Jason Thomas. We have bumper stickers, so if you want to express your road rage with a "Cursing is my superpower" bumper sticker, we got you for that. We got shirts, we got posters, we got posters with the cover of the comic done by Sarah Davidson. We got the comic, we got signed copies, we got a podcast, we got all types of different things that'll hopefully capture your imagination and help you to back Foulmouth on Kickstarter.
And let me just kind of look. I mean, I kind of noticed that maybe it's because it was it is a different genre for you. You kind of opted for the longer campaign.
Yes.
So I mean, I think the other ones were like 30 days, and this one is what, 45.
I've done 60 for the other ones just because just to make sure I have my time, and life gets in the way. I had vacations and stuff in the summer, so this is more to just make sure that if I'm not able to make my backing, to go on shows like this and talk to websites, talk to as many people as I can about spreading the word about Foulmouth. I know some people don't like longer campaigns, but I'm like, if they give me the time, I got to use it and maximize the most out of it. And I think it was a good move because if I did 30 days, I wouldn't have made my funding. And right now I'm at halfway funded. So just trying to figure it all out and trying to find the audience for this thing. I just, I'm having fun with it. And like, comics are my vacation because I get to do this, once or twice a year, and I get to talk to all of you and share my ideas and just have fun. So I'm going to try to have as much fun as possible with this.
Have you, since the pandemic, have you been doing any conventions or thought about maybe eventually hitting the convention trail?
I think in 2024, I'm going to start doing conventions. I was a little bit worried before because of COVID. But now it seems like it's a lot safer now, obviously. So
minus San Diego.
Yeah, minus San Diego earthquake. But and then, listen, COVID's still around. People are still going to get it. But I just think that, next year might be the best time to do it. I definitely want to do more research about it more. And I think I have enough titles now to feel like an accomplished writer, or feel like hey, if you like this, you might like this. If you don't like horror, I got superheroes for you. So I just want to make sure I have a nice, a nice range of comics within my wheelhouse.
And so, I'm sure you're going to meet your goal. I mean, I've already pledged and backed, so it's definitely going to succeed. So,
I appreciate anybody who backs my stuff. Like, the audience for this is different than the horror audience, which is pretty cool. People have returned from the other ones, but it's definitely an experience. And I think if you're a comic creator, this is something that it teaches you too. It teaches you how to hustle, it teaches you how to talk to people, it teaches you how to market your stuff, see what's working, what's not working. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with wherever my comic journey takes me. I'm very excited to see where it goes.
And I've noticed that since I've been promoting it on our Comic Watch crowdfunder, that you yourself have been posting on X or whatever it's calling itself now, looking for help, trying to help people find promote their projects. And I think that's great. I think we need more of that, and it's commendable that you're, as a indie creator yourself, that you're trying to also not only lift up yourself but lift up everyone else with you, because I think that's one good thing about great thing about this industry, or the indie part of the industry for the most part is you creators aren't like are trying to grab for that very limited piece of the pie. It's you may not like my stuff, here's somebody else's.
Listen, if there's so much great stuff out there, so many great people that, again, when I first started, I didn't know anything, and so many people were like, "Hey, here's how you do it," or try this, and we're very positive and very, it was just very down to earth about all of this. So I want to make sure that I don't like. It's not a competition. Like, I'm going to do what I need to do, and that's it. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to have fun. I don't care about if Marvel or DC or any of those things come knocking on my door. Great, but like, I'm trying to tell the stories that I'm trying to tell, and I know they're trying to tell the stories that they're wanting to tell, and if I can help amplify that, and again, I'm just a small time creator trying to figure it all out. But if I can help somebody introduce somebody to a whole other audience, or introduce like, hey, this is a cool thing, check it out, then I love it. Because if we all win, if one of us wins, we all win. So I'm hoping we all can win together, and it's just, there's room for everybody, and I think that there's that gatekeeping bullshit, or like that like, oh, it needs to be this. It's like, no, like, comics can be whatever you want it to be, and if you're making something you want to make and you put love in it, you'll find your audience.
And again, I think we talked about this before. I mean, are there any? I mean, I guess when we were talking about your horror stuff, we talked about the different writer influences that you had. Is there, now that you're writing superhero type stuff, are those kind of the same influences, or is there, maybe some other ones that you're kind of, pulled from to,
I mean, I'm such a big fan. As a kid growing up, I was a big fan of Green Lantern, right? The Green Lantern, the Kyle Rayner run done by Ron Mars. And, of course, everybody loved Venom, the multiple iterations of that. So I think this is my version of that, because Foulmouth can make curses into real life. So like, that's the Green Lantern part. And then the demon stuff is the Venom part. So mixing two things I love very much into this, awesome creation that I love so much. Those are definitely my influences. And of course the way the art style is done, it looks very much like, Saturday morning cartoons on Fox, that type of thing, the Bobby's Worlds and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, I think unintentionally, just doing that, it's very zany and fun and cartoony.
So we have horror, slight romance, and superhero. And holiday.
Yes.
What's the next genre that we're going to break into? Or
I would love to do something a little bit more serious, because just to show my chops and be like, hey, just when you think that I'm doing this, I'm going to go the other way. Because I love horror. I definitely will return to that soon. I've been writing stuff based around that, just because I've been having ideas for things. But I definitely have a whole slew of things that I want to do in a more serious note, and just test my writing skills, because I think you have to follow your muse. It doesn't matter what it is. If you have a story that only you can tell, no matter what the story is, what genre it is, you got to tell it. You got to chase that muse. You got to try to figure out what you can do to make that thing come to life. So I definitely, I think more something serious. I love the superhero stuff. I love the horror stuff. But yeah, something more serious, I think is where I want to go. And I know that's a vague answer, but just something that people wouldn't expect that it came from me.
Well, it was a very open-ended question, so you can answer as big as you like. So,
yes.
Is there anything else about maybe the campaign or Foulmouth that maybe we haven't talked about that you wanted to let people know about?
I think we covered a good amount. This is a 20-page comic. It's got a ton of action. It's of course the comedy is in there. It's ridiculous. It's something only that could be captured in the comic book medium. So I definitely think if you like slow pokes, if you like Zombie Date Night, Ex Machina, it's still got the humor, but it's just a little bit different this time around.
Now, any plans to revisit Ex Machina again, or?
Yes, I plan to revisit all the other comics because they sold. It's just with the way the comic the way the comic stuff is going, I'm just trying to figure out the best place for it. I will share with this that the next one on the list, because I finished the script, is Zombie Date Night 2. That is on its way. I once this campaign's over, I'll be focusing my full attention on making that come to life. And then I'm just writing other things. But yeah, I think down the line, there'll be another Ex Machina 2. I just got to talk to Misty Graves and see what she wants to do with it. But I think anything that I'm doing it's so much fun that I feel like it'll find its audience. And as long as I'm having fun and as long as it's something that people can jump into and be like, oh, that's a fun thing, then I think my comic career will be okay. Hopefully.
I mean, and whenever you are doing Zombie Date Night 2, then or whatever you're doing next, I always enjoy talking to you.
Thank you. I enjoy talking to you. This is my fourth time on here, which is pretty incredible for being a first timer and now fourth timer. You know, I got to get a jacket, the four timers club.
Well, you and Mark Russell, come on, I mean, you have as many. You can put that on your byline as many appearances as Mark Russell on the comics multiverse.
There you go. Listen, I'm doing it. But yes, it's been a fun time. We still got 30 days left on the Kickstarter. You know, reach out if there's anything else you want to see from this comic. Just, you know, hit me up on X, on any social media platform at the Steve Urena, SteveUrena.
See, you knew what I was going to have you do next. I was going to have you do another pitch for the book, and then where people could find you on social media. But you're such a pro.
I love to talk. I love talking. I love promoting, and I love marketing. So this is a lot of creators don't like talking to people, and I get that. You know what I mean? That's fine. For me, I love it. I'll be here all day if I could. Just having fun.
Well, as I said, it's always a joy to talk to you, and you know, definitely hopefully we'll meet up somewhere hopefully on the convention trail someday, or
great.
Maybe randomly.
You brought me,
and because I know you frequent upstate New York.
Yes, listen, I'll go. Any convention that wants to talk to me, I'm open for it because I've never been to one, and I've never been to one as a creator, and I think I'm ready. I mean, you tried to get me to the first one last year, but it just didn't work out because I was going on vacation. But I'm game. Just give me the dates, and we'll figure it out.
Well, hopefully that one will take place because this year it was unfortunately canceled. So, but if it's back on the books, then and I'm definitely on the committee, then you are definitely the top candidate for some talent.
Awesome. I'll take it. I'll do it. That sounds good.
All right. Well, again, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We'll be watching the success of Foulmouth campaign on Kickstarter, keeping track of it over on Comic Watch every week on our crowdfunding corner, promoting it and all that. And yeah, you know, you're always welcome back. You could be a fifth timer. I mean, I guess then I have to like get a green room for you or something.
I'm going to pretend and then I'll retire.
All right. Well, again, a pleasure talking to you, Steve. You know, I love your work, and you know, it's great to see, you know, someone, you know, who has a story to tell, being able to tell it and get it out to the world. And you know, it's again always a pleasure to talk to you. And you know, we'll be in touch, and I'm sure we'll be talking back and forth on the Book of Faces. So
sounds good.